The reason the Eibishter created the world is because he saw that neshamas, Jewish neshamas, have the same desire and the same taiva for adira b'tachteinu. Well, then that's a good shidduch. And what do we say about the taiva in the neshama? The taiva in the neshama is so strong that even when the golus is perfectly comfortable and good, spiritually and physically, if there's one spot where the Eibishter is not recognized and not served, it shatters us. And that's what gives us something in common with the Eibishter himself. So what does that mean? What does that imply concerning the Eibishter? As long as there is one spot in the world where the Eibishter is not known and the Eibishter is not served, what does it do to him? We're shattered by it. And he? So if we are a chelek elokah ma'al mamish, in other words, we're that similar, so if it shatters us, that Moshiach is not here, what does it do to him? So the Rebbe once explained why the urgency of we want Moshiach now. That's not traditional. Traditional is we want Moshiach b'meheira b'yameinu sometime in the near distant future. Now? Nobody ever said now. So the Rebbe explained it like this. If you're thinking only about yourself, then b'meheira b'yameinu, as long as it's in my lifetime, I'm fine. We should live to see Moshiach. Very nice. You want to be there when it happens. Okay. That's if you're thinking only about yourself. But if you don't think only about yourself, then you make a cheshbon like this. There are 7 billion people in the world. And as long as Moshiach is not here, human beings will have issues. Since leaving Gan Eden, we have issues. You have to work hard with sweat of your brow. You make bread. It's not easy to make a living. It's already a problem. There are all sorts of aches and pains that everybody has until Moshiach comes. Nobody is completely free of pain or of worry or of agony. Which means that if Moshiach comes 2 minutes from now, 2 minutes, that would mean that human beings, 7 billion human beings, will have 2 more minutes of suffering. How much suffering is that? Human suffering. It's horrible. If Moshiach comes 1 minute from now, that means that there's going to be another minute of suffering for 7 billion human beings. So if Moshiach came to you and said, I'll be there in a minute, just a minute, I'm coming, should we say, oh, great? What's great about 7 billion minutes of human suffering? How many years is that? Let's say you're not so altruistic, you're not so idealistic, and the suffering of every human being in the world doesn't bother you so much. So fine, so there are 15 million Jews in the world. Your people. If Moshiach comes a minute from now, it will be 15 minutes of Jewish suffering. That's a lot of suffering. More than that, if Moshiach comes a minute from now, it means that the Shechina remains in Golus for another minute. And by the Shechina, time is infinite. The Rebbe didn't elaborate on that. But in view of what we were saying before, how shattered is the Eibishter if Moshiach doesn't come for another minute? How shattered can a human being get? As a human being. How shattered can the Eibishter get? So when we say that the Shechina is in Golus, that is an awesome statement. The Shechina is in Golus doesn't mean the Shechina feels our pain. He's sympathetic to our pain. No, it's his pain. If the lack of Adira shatters the Chelek Elokah, what does it do to Elokah himself? And since tzaddikim are more obviously and visibly like the Eibishter, on the Rebbe it showed. But it's true of every Jew. Every Jew. This is revolutionary. And only somebody with an endless amount of Avos Yisrael could come up with something like that.